arachnophobes, beware. We're entering spider season, which sees our eight-legged friends, enemies to some, entering our homes, invading our homes, Shan.
They're invading our homes, how dare they? But not only that, the UK's biggest spider is on the rise, which, I mean, it's the news that nobody wanted, but here we are, we're giving it to you. But never fear, because expert James Logan is here to tell us what to do. Good morning, James.
Good morning.
I'm not happy with you that you pushed this spider slightly closer to me before we started. What's going on here?
Well, I'm sorry about that. These are some of the spiders that we find in our house, which we'll talk about in a second, but there have been a lot of headlines recently about this giant spider house invasion, spiders the size of your fist.
Size of a rat.
The size of a rat, you know, all of these sort of headlines. And actually, the stories come off something that's really very positive. So there is a spider in the UK...
Oh, sorry. Is there any need for that big here?
So
Director Barry is just laughing in my ear right now as I'm absolutely... It's massive.
A bit of warning might have been good.
Yeah.
So there is a spider called the fen raft spider, and it lives in sort of wetlands and marshlands, and it is quite a large spider. The thing is, it's not as big as a rat. It's about the size of the biggest spider you'll get in your house. This is one here that you can see. It's got this beautiful sort of yellowy white markings down the side of it here, and they live on the water. The reason this is really good news is because they were about to become extinct. They were endangered. And there's been a programme that's been run by the RSPB and other organisations to try and conserve the spiders and help them out. And it's working.
OK.
So there are more populations of these spiders in places like Norfolk and Suffolk and that sort of thing. And they're absolutely fantastic. You could see there, that one actually walks on water. They sort of skate across the water. That was a female there carrying her egg sac of young. There you can see it's actually captured some prey, so they hunt on the water. But
sorry, it's just the word egg sac. It's all getting... The thing is, it's fine walking on water when it's on a pond, but then my brain goes to, if it can walk on water, it can scuttle across a bath. A bathtub, if you're in it.
Yeah, but it would have to get into your house first.
But are they coming in?
Well, that spider is not, OK? So there's nothing to worry about.
Can they eat a fish?
They can eat small fish, they can eat insects, they can eat tadpoles as well. They're a really important part of the ecosystem. And as I say, they are really beautiful. I don't particularly want to pick up spiders myself, even though I know stuff about spiders, but I respect them and I think they're really, really beautiful. But this is the time of year when spiders start to come into our house. But it's a different bunch of spiders.
OK.
Why are they coming in? Because it just seems to happen overnight and then house is full of them.
Well, that's right, yeah. So when the weather kind of starts to get a bit colder, and, you know, we've not had a great summer, let's face it, but when it gets a bit colder and it starts to rain, and especially if we have a lot of rain, it kind of washes the spiders out of their home and they come in to look for a bit of warmth and a bit of shelter, essentially. But during the autumn, which is what we're approaching now, we start to see spiders coming out to mate. So, you know, when you're sitting watching the telly and this giant spider kind of scuttles across the floor, usually that's a house spider, and it's usually a male, and he's looking for a date. He's basically looking for a female to mate with.
I feel a bit sorry for them now, because they do get a bad rap, spiders.
That means we've got more egg sac situation happening around our homes.
I'm so conflicted, because I don't particularly like them, and the long-legged ones as well really get to me. However, I don't like to kill anything, and I feel it's more the fear of knowing what to do with them, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's it. And I think it's the unpredictability, isn't it? I mean, so I've got a fear of what they might do, because my dad used to scare us with spiders. He used to catch them and go, you know, what's in my hand? And then you sort of run away screaming as a child. And so I've still got that innate kind of phobia if they come near me. But there are different spiders. You know, I mean, the big ones, we've got one here right at the end. They are all alive, yeah. So that is the common house spider. So one of the biggest ones that you'll get.
OK, let's look at it now and try and find things we like in its face and not look at it as the enemy.
You're
and James,
right,
you explain all we need to know as Shan bonds.
Are those fangs on the front?
No, so those are called palps.
Which is the bit that lays the eggs in your face?
Oh, no, don't, Craig.
Spiders, so listen, this is why spiders get a bad rap, OK? They are not going to harm us at all, OK? Spiders can bite. They'd prefer not to. They'd prefer not to come anywhere near us. They do a really good job. If you didn't have spiders in your house, we'd be overrun by flies and all the other things that we really, really don't want around.
Oh, so, it's moving.
Spiders are our friends.
That lid's on, isn't it?
But what you see in the front there, those are the palps. They use that to mate with, and that's a male, and they kind of look like boxing gloves. at the front there, sort of thick palps there. So that's a house spider.
Yep.
That's actually really interesting because, you know, you think fangs and we see what doesn't exist. Actually, that's just something they use to mate with. It's a tool of love. It's a James. It's not something for aggression. So if you learn more, maybe we'll become friends with them, right?
Well, exactly. Yeah. I think it's all about understanding them and just sort of understanding their lives because, you know, they're not interested in us.
No.
They just happen to like our homes. But another spider, and now this is one that I actually really like having in my house. This is a cellar spider, and they've got these tiny little bodies and these really spindly legs. And if you go near them, they quite often jiggle like this in their web. They're pretty good for removing flies and that sort of thing. A lot of people call them daddy long legs. Don't get them mixed up with actual daddy long legs, which have wings and fly. These things don't fly. There's a bit of a myth that they have a really venomous toxin, and if they could bite through, it's not really true. Most spiders do have a venom because they use that to paralyze their prey. A lot of spiders like those can't really puncture our skin because it's pretty thick. And as I said, if a spider does bite you, usually it's in self-defense because it's got trapped under your clothing or under a glove or something. And then the bite is really just like an insect sting or something like that. It's usually not really that bad. However, this little chap here is a false widow spider. And it's called a false widow because it looks like a black widow spider, but isn't as venomous as those. And they're introduced, and you do get them in the UK now.
Do you get you don't get black widow spiders here, do you?
No. They don't live here. No.
OK, fine.
They could be imported, but that's very unlikely. So the best way that you can... So with this one does actually... This can bite.
OK.
It won't go out its way to bite you, but again, it'll just be like an insect sting. But the big question is, how do we get rid of spiders? So there's essential oils and things that people use. Do they work? Probably not. The best thing is to block up any holes that you've got in the walls or the skirting boards, and that will stop them actually coming in, and keep your windows shut as well, because that's also where they come in. And in terms of removing them, so the best thing that you can do is to use the good old-fashioned cup, glass, bit of card, pop it in there, over there, and then you just take it outside.
It's when they cling to the paper as you try and get rid of them, and then he ends them back inside.
It's funny. I don't adore them, but I'm growing to like them because I have to remove them from the kids' rooms, you know, even the older kids' rooms. And so I have in the past, and I don't love myself for it, I've grabbed it by the leg. Yeah. And that, I know I've done harm there, so don't grab it by the leg
It's probably not the best thing to do. It's certainly better than grabbing it with a tissue or something, but you don't want to harm them. They're not doing any harm.
No.
The other thing to remember is if you put them outside and it's cold, they're going to die out there probably. So if you can, put them in a shed, put them in a garage, or just out of the way, basically, so that they're not going to interfere with you.
What happens if we just kind of get over ourselves and just leave them to it? Is anything bad going to happen?
No, nothing bad will happen. You'll have fewer flies and other insects in your house.
And just quickly, I see the conkers there, because that was always like a bit of an urban legend. Yes. Is that true, that you can put conkers in your house?
Well, I mean, so many people talk about conkers, and the interesting thing is, inside a conker, there are chemical smells, and scientists have shown that some of those smells are actually repellent to spiders. So whether they...
Oh, I can hear it again. I'm getting
Conquer me. Yeah.
Where is it? Oh,
there you go.
Steady,
right,
that was a good shot.
That's what not to do. That's a really good example of what not to do to
Yeah, that's why I
spiders
did it, to show people, don't do that.
Exactly. So very gently lift them outside. Conkers probably don't do very much, but, you know, if it makes you feel better, put some conkers around your house.
I don't know, it can knock out a AA battery pretty sharply.
Right, can someone just get rid of that horrible spider? Thank you so much for that, James.
Really good. Let's leave them. Let's just leave them in our house.
Leave them be.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead, hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out, and we'll see you in the morning.